All right, we'll start with an opening statement from Coach, then take questions for Juju.
Yeah, we wish Long Island the best this season. A lot of respect for Coach Strickland, obviously, as a player. Grew up in that era watching him a lot, so 17 years in the NBA. He's probably tired of hearing about his playing career, but I was right there in his generation. Remember my mom and dad, we never had cable television. Then we got cable television so we could get TNT. Then we started watching those games. But he's, I don't know, we all value different things in programs, but I love like the kind of don't lose your chip, kind of street dog, tough guy, and the way he played was brilliant. And a lot of respect for his coaching career. You know, they just didn't hand him this job on a platter. You know, he put in a lot of years as an assistant coach, 2 successful programs. So we wish them the best. I like the balance of their team, and I think they got a chance to have a really good year in their conference. Secondly, really want to thank the fans for coming out tonight, and obviously the student section. If we can get that kind of support from the students this year, I think we can continue to build a home court advantage. But they were the energy in the building tonight, and certainly want to thank all the students that came out. If you guys could help us in your own mediums, your own ways, the next game's at 6 o'clock Friday, national television game, 6 o'clock Friday. Of course, the big football game the next day. So hopefully the students can get the information that the game's at 6 and then show up again. And the season ticket holders that came tonight were very appreciative. And then the season ticket holders, you know, you can't come to every game. We all get it. Life moves fast. Got kids, church, activities, but on the nights that, you know, you can't come to the game, we should keep encouraging our student season ticket holders to give their seats to Ole Miss fans. Any questions for Juju? By the way, let me introduce Juju. This is the Ole Miss student athlete of the month for the month of October. I've got my own opinion on Juju as a student, but that's not for today's platform. I'll just introduce him with the factual reality that he is the Ole Miss student athlete of the month in October. Any questions for Juju, the student athlete of the month?
Juju, what has just the past week since Illinois been like as far as preparation? What aspects that showed up in this game was, you know, ironed out from the exhibition as far as the things you need to work on and whatnot?
Well, one of them was rebounding for sure. These past couple of games, these two, this game that just passed, we got rebounded by Illinois. So, you know, one of the focuses was definitely rebounding, and one of the focuses was definitely defensive too. So, you know, we just been buying in on that, you know, focusing on the scout, personnel, where people want to go, what head they want to use and stuff like that. So that's what we've been doing lately.
Juju, what's a cooler honor, being Student Athlete of the Month or surpassing 1,000 career points tonight?
It's kind of hard to choose, but I would definitely say Student Athlete of the Month because I never got that before. So I never got a Student Athlete of the Month before. So when I got it for my first time, I was definitely excited.
What does surpassing 1,000 points tonight mean to you just as your career as a whole?
I didn't even really know that I was close, honestly. Somebody had just told me. But it's definitely, you know, a blessing. You know, I'm glad I got my 1,000 points with Coach Bay, you know. Just like I always say, you know, he been leaving me since the first time I spoke to him, so it's good.
You hit 5 threes tonight. I think it tied a career high. What were you doing, and I guess what were your teammates doing to kind of get you open? A lot of those looks were open looks.
You know, just driving the ball, you know, passing, cutting, screening for each other, you know. And in the game, you know, Matt, Sean, you know, they was kind of telling me already, like, yo, you hitting. You know, we're going to try to keep getting you open. Just keep moving around. We're going to pass and screen, cut for you. So it's definitely, you know, give a big thanks to my teammates.
You had that fast start, or his team had that fast start Sunday against Illinois. Tonight kind of had to grind out those first few minutes of the game. Just for a team that's still trying to mesh and learn, how important is it to have kind of 2 different kind of starts early in the season like that?
You know, it's kind of different because, you know, since my 2 years been here, you know, I never really had a start off like that. But I would just say, you know, what impressed me a lot, we was talking about at halftime, you know, we just, you know, like we a veteran team, you know, so we wasn't really worrying about it too much that, you know, the basket was tight for us. We was still trying to figure ways out to, you know, keep getting to the paint, keep getting good shots. It wasn't like we was taking bad shots. Most of the shots that we was getting was like in the paint, you know, missing little chippy layers, but we wasn't worried about it at all.
It's cool to see Cam Brett hit that jumper.
Yeah, for sure. You know, a lot of times he get in the game, he always want to do a little pass and, you know, he don't be trying to score, but it was big time today. He had a good shot.
More questions for Juju? All right.